Welcome to the Young and the Restless, the Pop Culture's WWE podcast. I am your host, Ryan Betson, alongside
the modern day Jem Maharaja, Jem DeMahal.
I hope we get them forever.
I'm going to try.
They are so good.
I'm going to try.
How are you, man? For those that do listen to this, we are releasing a couple episodes in a row. Mm-hmm. We did some sort of what were going to be unaired pilots. We're really happy with them, so you're getting all of them. You get a nice little burst. And we found a lot of the big things that happened in this week's Raw and SmackDown sort of started the week before. So we can't kind of just kick things off.
You need that
here.
lead up for sure.
Losing things. But before we do get into everything, we should mention that over on the PopC community Facebook page, we are doing the Royal Rumble sweep. I think we're about 20 people deep at this point, so there is still a little bit of time. So if you want to join, head over to the facebook.com/groups/the PopCulturist. By joining the Rumble sweep, you have a chance of winning a couple of things. So if you happen to be the winner of the men's Royal Rumble, as in so you'll be randomly allocated a number, matching wrestler, there you go. If you win the men's, you win your own Universal Championship belt. If you happen to win the women's, you win the Raw Women's Championship. And then what we're doing is for an overall winner, so what we do is we'll put your two numbers together, as in how they placed, and whoever has the highest, the lowest combined, thanks to 2K Australia, we have copies of WWE 2K19 to give to those winners as well. Now, you don't have to be here at my place watching the Rumble to enter the competition. You just got to be part of the Facebook community group. It's pretty much where it is. So, big thank you once again to Mikey and the team over there at 2K. Muchly appreciated, because I have some plans for 2K19 with this show. Moving forward, so I want to sort of, as we hit pay-per-views, maybe once we get a more secure, a bit tougher with the Rumble, I suppose, but I want to use WWE 2K19 to help predict the outcome of some match, and to keep these off to the side. We don't want people to lose their potential championship belts. But yeah, how's your week been, man?
Yeah, good. Yeah. I have been hanging for this week's episodes. Because I think, obviously, because last week was such a lead-up episode, I felt a bit lackluster. Yeah. So I'm really excited to get into this. There was
some beginnings of some really cool stuff happening last week, and they really tied in quite heavily to this week, which is great. So let's kick things off, as we do every week, with Raw. This one aired on the 14th of January in the United States, and it was out of Memphis, Indiana. Indiana?
Indiana, no.
I don't know.
Memphis is Tennessee, isn't it?
Oh, is there a Memphis in Indiana? Sure.
I don't know.
Fuck it, why not? So things kick off with Vince McMahon coming in with his limousine, getting out, looking all schmick as he does. Spots a little bit of dirt on the limo. He gets the driver, be like, "Wait, dude, you know who I am. Rub this shit." Cleans it down. I don't know about you, but when you see Vince McMahon arrive, you're like, some shit's going down. Yeah. Something's happened. Something's getting shaken up. I don't know what it is. Like, he's never just there to be like, "Good luck, everyone."
Yeah, no.
Never happens.
Immediately, I was like, why? What's happening? What's going on? This is big. And I was like, let's see where this leads.
Big stuff. Because we are a week, just shy of a week. So about 9 days at the day this goes up, if not 10 days. It's around there. Yeah. It's getting close. It's real tight to the Rumble. So it'd be risky to change things now, but that's... Yeah. See how we go. Next up, we get Braun Strowman. He enters the ring doing the big Braun yell, which I love immensely. I'm a big Braun fan. I have in my cart on WWE Shop, I have Braun shirts that have been there forever. I just got to I'm just trying to make the order worth it, because postage is the dick. Yeah. So I'm gonna try to put as much in there as I can. Oh, speaking of shirts, you can now buy Young and the Wrestler shirts right here. So yours are in the post. They're coming.
I am so excited. I can't wait.
So Braun comes out in the ring, does the usual pay-per-view promo stuff, which, he's like, "I'm going to beat the living shit out of Brock. You just wait. Brock's going down. I've got this."
Yes.
Which, at this point in time, as I move my keyboard out of the shot, I would believe him.
Yeah.
I do think that Braun would be the man in this. Like, he's had a shot at the Universal Championship a couple times. I think it's there.
Yeah.
You know, granted, being healed it's because from that tremendous elbow beating that he received. But as you mentioned last week, like he may not be there. Brock will have an upper hand, but I do truly think Braun would have got.
Yeah, I think that really that surprised me when he said he was all healed. I was like, yes, like we're going to see the full potential of Braun Strowman.
That was I literally was like, yes,
yeah,
like, yes,
because
like,
I was like,
I genuinely had a concern. I'm like, nah, this dude is hurt.
Yeah.
He's going to be very tough for him to get into this match and then obviously come out all good.
Yeah.
And he talked a lot about how Brock is always scared of him.
Yeah.
So all these different times that he's had a shot at the Universal Championship, Brock has come in and interfered. Like there's always, and he's spot on. It's these things that happen where he keeps coming in and preventing the light. An example I think was between, I forget who it was against, but Brock literally just ripped the wall off his cage and got all up in there, like proper interfered. It was pretty brutal.
Yeah. Wow.
Let's see. The next thing, Baron... Sorry, my handwriting is atrocious. Baron Corbin comes in and talks about how him just standing there was longer than Braun's last match with Brock Lesnar. As we know from Crown Jewel, gets in there, the 5 F5s, and Braun's done.
Yes.
And then, of course, Baron interferes, whacking him in the face with the Raw Championship, with the Universal Championship at the time. Whew, crazy stuff. And, of course, Braun, he's prone to anger, man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He cracked it.
Yeah.
Bonkers.
Not so.
Chased him out the back. Ran through, saw a bunch of chaos going on, ran into the Singh brothers. He was like, where's Baron? And they're like, I don't know. Throws one of them through the catering table.
Wild.
And it's this weird moment of, I'm like, man, I've seen this before. This is a Braun that we've seen before. I think there's approximately this time last year, during the lead up to what would have been the Kane, Braun, Brock Universal Championship match at Royal Rumble 2018. The same thing went down. Yeah. So I was like, crap, are we seeing the same shit again? Like, Braun, this is not the smart move. Next thing you know, he wanders around, runs past Elias. Yeah. Elias brings out Little Jam, which is love. Yeah. And in, like, credit to, how it's being shot, because it shows Elias and then it just zooms out a little bit and Braun's just right there. He's listening to every word that Elias had to say. Turns out Baron was hiding inside what was Vince's limousine. Locked those doors shut, window shut. Braun proceeds to break not just the window, rip the door open. Yeah. And
rip the door off.
Rip the door off, sorry.
Completely off.
So what do you think with this as it was?
I do, obviously, same as you, have concerns. Obviously, Braun is, just letting the emotions get the better of him, and it's not a good idea. And Baron's a coward, let's be honest. But I think just that unbridled strength that you see him just rip that door off, like, it has a lot to say about him, especially, like, saying that he was healed. He's proving that.
Oh, yeah, like, what could be more healed than yanking a door off?
Exactly it.
So after all this chaos and this wreckage, of course, Vince rocks up.
Of course he does.
Sees this, what used to be the back end of a car. And he's like, in other words, like, what the fuck is this? Yeah. You know what? For this, you're being fined $100,000. Braun, being a dick.
Yep, just that unbridled emotion.
Like, I understand he was in the heat of emotions right there, but you don't talk back to the Mr. McMahons. No. And he's like, this shit's not worth $100,000. That's bullcrap. He's like, fine, you don't have your championship match at Royal Rumble anymore. Understandably, cracks the shits, flips that fucking limousine over. And
just
I've got a couple things about this, but what do you think about him being stripped of the championship match?
I think that was extreme. I think it was extreme, but I also think Mr. McMahon knew what he was doing. Yeah. I think he knew exactly what he was doing, stripping him of that match. Like,
it hurts me because I certainly feel that, like, Braun may be his own worst enemy. Yeah. There's been numerous times where he's got to a point of winning a belt or winning something and then it's just getting taken away from the last minute. Like, it's almost like he sets himself up for self-destruction, which is a real concern. Because, like, the only belt that he has recognition of is when he won the Greatest Royal Rumble at the Greatest Royal Rumble in early last year. And that no one seems to remember that. Yeah. Like
it's definitely been overshadowed.
Yeah, like everyone just forgets that belt existed. The green belt that no one remembers. Yeah. So, and then he was, of course, the Monster in the Bank for a little while there, and he cashed that in and still didn't get the win. Yeah. Like, I feel he's hard done by, but I also feel that maybe there's a reason, and that's the tough part for me personally.
Yeah.
It's like my personal conflict, and I'm hiccups all of a sudden. I'm too emotional. Of this investment, you know, I'm like, he needs it. Like he's good. He's vicious.
Yeah.
And like, you know, and then of course getting that super beat down as well, sort of put him out for a couple of weeks. Like, I'm bummed. Yeah. Genuinely bummed.
Wholeheartedly.
Genuinely bummed.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think I kind of went way past my notes. Next thing we move into a tag match, sort of coming off of last week with Sasha Banks and Nia Jax. This is a tag team match with Ronda Rousey, Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax and Tamina.
Yes.
Yeah, so there was no build, like no chats about this. It just went straight into it, which was awesome. And it was like almost seconds after Braun stuff. So they're like, fuck. All right, Rousey, music's hit. Get in.
Yes.
Let's get away from this chaos that's going on over here. I love that. I love them as a team. I love Rousey. I love Sasha Banks. So that was a big win for me. Can't stand Nia Jax. Still can't stand Tamina. Yeah. Actually, you know what? I lie. I'm apathetic towards Tamina. I got nothing against. I've never seen her do shit.
Yeah.
I've never. As long as I've been watching recently, I'm yet to hear her speak.
Yeah, and I love that whole not speaking thing because it definitely gives me that idea that there's something behind it. But it bums me out that she is in the shadow of Nia Jax. She's a snooker, for crying out loud. Like, she deserves to be better than that, and it bums me out for Tamina, and I just want to see big things happen for her this year. Yeah,
and I hope there is a split in some capacity, because I don't think, especially in this match, that neither of them, like as in neither Nia or Tamina, worked off each other well.
No.
Like there was a couple of moments, so we should mention as Sasha Banks started on that scene with Nia coming on the other, Nia had no interest in Banks. She's like, I want Rousey.
Yeah,
I want Rousey now.
Straight away.
So it did take a little bit of time for them to get in, but they did. Eventually swap through. Yeah. Let's see. Rousey did end up getting the armbar on Tamina, and it was almost what would have been the count. However, Nia Jax interfered, yanked Tamina out of the ring, leaving that all up in the air. But why the fuck is my handwriting so bad? But similar to last week, Banks did get the win using the submission, the bank statement. This show on Tamina, I should mention. So this shows a lot, actually. So Rousey is known for she's a submission machine. That's what she tries to be. So it's very cool to see someone come in and be just as powerful at submission.
Yeah, especially someone so small. Like, Sasha's a little girl. Like, somebody so small being so dominant in a submission is huge to see. Yeah,
it shows a lot of power in Banks, and I like that a lot now because, you know, she's not new to this. This is a 4 times women's champion here. You know, it's like she's been around. She's seen what's up. But I think it's really good for, like, it's the same sort of idea when we had the hints of the Becky versus Ronda before Survivor Series, with Becky's move being the arm bar and Becky having the disarmer. Like, it's that they were pretty equal at that point in terms of what their key move is and what it does as a submission move. So it's cool to see that go again.
Yep, and like we were saying last week, like.
Man, I talk a lot. Just interrupt me. By the way.
No. Like we were saying last week, like they're coming into this as equals.
Yes.
Which means that if they've got the same sort of move sets, if they've got the same mutual respect for each other, they're going into this on an even playing field, which means their match is going to be something else. You can just tell because there's no emotions flowing yet.
If you want to take it,
to that.
What
but
next?
Obviously there's a bit of smack talk, like Ronda's talking respectfully and then she drops the I'm going to make you submit, and then Sasha gets heated and she is like, you're going to make me submit, and then smack talk happens and Ronda's trying to be super civil, like that's not what I meant, and Sasha just keeps taking it the wrong way, and then it ends up being very, very obviously dramatic. Sasha gets quite heated. Sasha is known to be heated. Whereas Ronda, obviously, she's got a bit more of a level head sometimes. Like, she has her moments, but in this, she's trying to keep that playing field even.
But this is the thing I don't understand. This sort of discussion pre-match, it's common practice.
Yes.
Like, where in previous, like, regardless of how much you respect your competitor, you want to win, right?
Exactly.
What the fuck is Sasha's problem? It's like, I imagine like, if they are on the same level of respect, and Sasha says the same thing, like what does that mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Does then Ronda not able to get in the same level of agitated, or because in the UFC that's a common practice. Like regardless of how much you respect that person, I'm gonna beat the piss out of him. I'm gonna win
because I want to win. And obviously they end up backstage with Natty and Bailey.
Yep.
And Natty straight up, she's like, Sasha's being like, they get into a bit of a scuffle, they send them in their opposite ways, and Natty's like, Sasha's being too emotional, and Bailey's being like, Ronda needs to watch what she's saying. But I fully agree with Natty on that. Like, she's like, Sasha's being way too emotional about it. She's taking it the wrong way.
I agree, because as I just said, like with Sasha Banks, like she would say the same shit.
Exactly it.
Yeah,
and it's very hypocritical.
And it was very weird of sort of Ronda to chase after him. Like, fuck it, man, you've done nothing wrong.
Yeah, just let it go.
What are you doing? Like, let it be.
I can understand where she's coming from though, because she wants that mutual playing ground. She wants that mutual respect. And now that's sort of going out the window. Because in the same way that, her best match.
Like 2 weeks ago, when Natalya had a championship shot with Ronda, that was a mutual respect. Like, because these guys train together, they're like legitimate friends. Yeah. So for them to come into the ring, like it was literally like a shake hand and let's do this.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was a pretty solid match.
It was.
You know what I mean? And because of that, like they respect each other as competitors to push themselves that bit further.
Exactly it. And then in comes the Riot Squad.
Yeah, so the Riot Squad being what's their sort of slogan? Equal opportunity agitators.
Yes.
Big fan of that. I love that statement so much. They just come in sort of poking at the bear while the bear's angry. It's being like, oh man, it's a shame that you guys are all like splitting ways because we're fucking tight.
Yeah.
Like the three of us, we've never had a problem, which is true. Since their debut as the Riot Squad, they've not had any, like there's been no splits. There's been no like these guys know how to work together. Yep. So like Ruby, Liv, and Sarah, they know what's up. They know how to work each other, which is really, really good. Now we kind of just ran somewhere, so I forgot where my notes were.
Sorry.
No, that's all good.
Getting carried away.
No, this is good. I'm just my handwriting is appalling. Let's see. Took offense. Live outside Vinnie Mac's office. That's right. We did jump ahead because there was a cut to outside of Mr. McMahon's office.
That was after we did see Braun Strowman get escorted out by 3 police officers.
Of course. Understandably, of course.
Yep, he was in trouble.
Dude's in trouble, and he's caused some chaos.
Yeah.
Now, what I love about this is because it is well known that old Vince McMahon does have an open door policy.
Yes.
So if you do want to go in there and have a chat about your opportunities and where you think you should be, or what things you want to sort of do within WWE, that is possible. So I like the idea. So I like them that everyone took the initiative and just fucking got there.
Yes.
Now they kind of just did a bit of a sweep up the line. We'll get into who's in that line in just a minute, but. So that was really cool to see. There's a lot of names in there.
Yeah.
Some obscure ones, some other ones.
Yeah.
Really good to see. Then that cut to what would be the men's tag team match tonight, which was the Lucha House Party versus the Revival.
Yes.
This is sort of a redemption a bit of from last week.
Yeah.
With the Revival being screwed.
Yeah.
So
and blaming Lucha House Party.
It was weird
for not picking up on it.
Understandably, like there were 5 tag teams in that situation at that time. Why focus on Lucha House Party? Like, if anything, like they weren't even on the same side of the ring. I don't think.
They were right in
there?
front. Yeah, they were right in front when the foot was on the ropes, and they were even like making a fuss and stuff about it. They were right there, but they did nothing about it. Okay. So that's why they've been targeted. They were right there while it happened. They saw the whole thing go down.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
It seems like you said, because I was like, this is like why. Like I understand that you don't jump on who'd they take on last week? This is where I should remember shit, but I forget.
They were in red shorts.
Bobby Roode and Gable.
Yeah.
So it makes sense not to take them on again, because it's like, come on, from a booking perspective, it's silly. But I also like that they're like, no, if they can dismantle everyone that sided against them when they do eventually head back to Roode and Gable.
Yes.
They'll be
in a position.
We've got all these guys behind us. Like none of that shit again.
They did target Lucha House Party for a reason.
They did. So it did end with I believe it was Dawson.
Yeah.
Having one of the Lucha House Party guys. Not the same. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. Yep.
It makes it very difficult when they're all got masks on.
Yeah.
I
think his name started with M.
Potentially.
Yeah.
There was same thing. There was a foot on the rope. The Dash Wilder comes up, gives the push off in that last minute. 3 taps and it's done.
Redemption.
Beautiful. Loved it. Loved it.
That was exactly what I wanted to see from that. I wanted to see that screw over just pay off.
Yeah.
And that foot getting pushed off the rope and the count happening was just, I was kind of happy for them. As much as they're like, you know, as much as it seems like they're, I don't know, I don't see them as like the baby face, if you will. I don't see them as a very like babyish team. Like they've got this arrogance to them, so I kind of don't like them. But at the same time, I was like, this is great. I am so happy for you guys. Like,
I said I don't have any stance either way about the Revival. They're there, and that's about as much.
That's sort of where I'm at.
Care about them. But as I mentioned last week, with these guys being very rule focused, very much about the art of the wrestling.
Yes.
It was nice to see them sort of go, well, if the rules are going to break, we'll break them to benefit us.
Yeah, exactly.
And I liked that a lot. That was a really good sort of a nice little redemption arc, I guess. I do certainly think these guys will either focus on taking out the rest of the guys, or if rumor has it, all this sort of rule breaking may be enough to push them over to All Elite Wrestling. Looks like last I heard they may be in talks. So
interesting.
That would be cool to see how that happens.
Yeah.
But cuts back. Oh, we should mention, this just shows how much the producers of Raw give a shit about the tag teams right now. And this is kind of pitiful. During this match, they then just have a little screen up in the corner being like, hey, these are the people in the line for the Universal Championship.
Yeah.
Incredibly disrespectful towards the tag team competitors. But
exactly.
I understand with time and whatnot, they've got to try to showcase this stuff separately.
Trying to put a lot into a small segment.
But yeah, so they had a good showing of all the guys are at the front. We saw Apollo Crews. Obviously, he came up saying, like, I want to give this a red hot go. Kurt Hawkins, the man who's forever losing. It'd be nice for him to go in there and give it a shot. The B team showed their interest, although they couldn't decide who was going to compete. Yeah. So that made it a bit difficult for them. We saw the unveiling of EC3 on Raw. However, he did nothing, looked at the camera, and then left. Very weird. Why are you on the line?
The strong silent type.
It was very weird. It was interesting. And once again, not watching NXT and not knowing where he comes from, I'm like, I'm intrigued, but okay. And then it was Heath, Slater, and Rhino. They're just to be in the line. Yeah. He's like, so Heath, you gonna compete? He's like, oh man, I got kids. I ain't doing this. Hey, Rhino might. He's like, I don't want to do it. So like, I don't know why they're on the line, but I loved it. And then of course, at that point, I think it may have already happened. I think Jerry Lawler showed up.
Yeah, first.
And then No Way Jose can pass the Conga line.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's a good time.
Then we have Vince walk into the ring to announce what the plans are for the Universal Championship match. Before he could literally utter a word out, in comes the John Cena. Love it. Beautiful. He delivered like literally what was, I think, a very valid argument. He comes 100%. In sort of saying along the lines of, look, 20 years ago when everything was going chaos for what WWE was and Vince McMahon needed help, he mentioned that like when Stone Cold up and left, when The Rock up and left, when Brock Lesnar decided to leave at the time to go play football. So he talked about how he's been there since he needed it, because Vince McMahon would, like he's about to do right now, to come out and say someone needs to step up. And for that reason, he's like, I'm there. I'm going to step up. I'm going to give you that ruthless aggression.
I deserve this.
Yeah.
Because there's a reason Vince thinks he's the greatest of all time, and that is that exact reason. He carried that company for Vince. I
wouldn't, like, even though he's been absent for the better part of the last year, like, John Cena is still a massive part of this of WWE as a brand, as a company, everything. Yeah. So I understand why he wants to. But at the end, he's won championship of having the record currently being held by Bret Michaels. Bret Michaels?
I think so.
Yes, Bret Michaels.
Yeah.
So although I want to see him have the record, I think he deserves that record. I think he really deserves that shot.
And again, coming from that era when that was all happening, like before all those superstars left, like John Cena and Brock Lesnar was an amazing feud that I would love to relive. So
there's history there, man.
There is
that
a
makes
big
it
history there, and that for me was just like yes, I'd love to see this happen again, because that was a powerful feud that I loved so much.
So for me, it came from the same place of being like not knowing the feud history, but more of looking at it as like, yeah, that's a match I want to see at Rumble. Yeah. Like, I want to see him get that record. Yeah. I want to see him take on the Beast.
Definitely, he's earned it. He really has over the years.
But then, of course, the Scottish psychopath rocks up that Drew McIntyre talks about, makes fun of whatever book he's writing. Because, sort of implying that, yeah, you've been here, but you haven't been here.
Yeah.
He comes out, he's like, I am the epitome of ruthless aggression right now. I should have a red hot go at this. Baron Corbin comes, because fucking why not?
Of course Baron Corbin comes.
See, saying that, but like as we mentioned last week, I kind of think he deserves the shot too.
Yeah.
So coming from having everything crumbled around him, and as he mentioned, just having his safety for like what occupational health and safety is that shit?
Yeah.
Like WWE should be liable for that crap. So like the least they can do is give him a shot.
Yeah.
So he comes out and defends his case, and I agree with him. I think he deserved the shot as well.
Yeah.
And then the one that surprised me the most, give me a second.
Me too.
Finn Balor. The extraordinary man that can do extraordinary things. My nose is just flogged up some beers.
That's okay.
Gross. Yeah, so he rocks up and he does the idea of like, look, I'm the only one in this ring right now which has had Universal Champion.
Exactly.
He's the first Universal Champion. So I should have the Universal Championship. So for him, he never lost it.
Yeah,
he had to give it up.
Forfeit. Yeah.
After getting injured in that match with Seth Rollins, for him, this is I had to give it up.
Yep.
I want to get it.
This.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I deserve this. I have been left behind since coming back from that injury.
Yeah.
I deserve this shit.
Exactly it.
What I found was incredibly interesting, and the only person for Vince to exchange words with was Finn.
Yes.
He's like, look, you are exceptional. You are extraordinary. But look at all these dudes around me. Look at the beef on these dudes, he said, which was a really weird expression. And then he talks about like Brock Lesnar. It's like, nothing against you, man, but you are a smaller dude, and it's the Beast. Like this is who you're up against, which is a total valid concern.
Well, definitely.
Like, granted, regardless of how good Finn Balor is, Brock has size, and size wins.
I think it was really shitty of Vince to say that. But I think that Finn played his case really well.
Yeah, by turning around and punching Baron Corbin in the face.
Exactly.
I'm like, give it to him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what he...
So during this scuffle... So I'm just going to keep talking.
Go for it.
You are going to have to jump in.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Mouth blurting. During this scuffle, Drew McIntyre then jumps on John Cena.
Vince goes running to the corner of the ring.
And then he gets out and he hangs it on the apron. During the scuffle, Corbin drops. I think he rolls out. Next thing you know, Claymore kicks to not just Finn Balor, but to John Cena. And James was like, look at me. This is my time. Yeah. And I was like, fuck, I think Drew's got it.
And Vince is on the apron with a literal heart on.
Oh, yeah.
Just like frothing this whole thing. And he's like, yes.
He's like, I am so hard that this is going to be the main event. It's a four-way. It's a fatal four-way. I looked at my seat. I was like, yes!
I was so excited.
Give me this!
Yes. Yeah, I was stoked.
Bouncing off the excitement last week where we had like the big 6-man tag team at the start. Yes. I was like, nah, I need more of this. Like having
give me this brutality.
Yeah, having all these stars smooshed into a ring. I'm like,
yeah.
Give it in here, in my veins. Put it in there. But after that pretty exciting moment, Evan, it was good, but it was kind of low. Yeah. Riot Squad versus Natalya, Bayley, and the third member of their choosing. In this case, it was a member of Sanity and NXT upcomer Nikki Cross. Fuck, Nikki Cross has a presence.
She is something else for sure.
Yeah, I understand that she a little eccentric.
Yeah.
A little bonkers.
Some weird things.
I understand as part of Sanity, that's kind of part of what you need to be, and they need to be a little bit loose.
Yeah.
But
you gotta let Nikki play.
Yeah. The accent wins me a time. Like,
kills me. I love it.
Yeah. So I do think that, although Sanity was good in NXT, I think she's got a little medicated. I think she needs to take control of this this mental health challenge that she's facing.
Definitely
because
needs to tone down.
Compared to say Bayley and Natalya, I'm like, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, there's a lot. definitely. I was a bit like, whoa, like tone it down. For me, I found it just a bit too much, and I was quite distracted by it, and I was like, stop being weird and just wrestle, please.
Well, that's the thing. Like, sort of, that's the point I'm making. Is like, that's my understanding. That's her. That's Nikki Cross. So like, do something, chill out, discover yoga. Yeah. Maybe like some Tai Chi or some shit. Yeah. Like, chill out, center down, because she can wrestle.
Crazy, but not too much.
At one point, she took on the entire Riot Squad. I've not seen anybody else do that at this point. So
yeah, she's definitely showing her worth for sure.
Like, she's got it. Like, she's got something, and I want to see it. But
yeah, whatever she's doing is distracting from that.
Yeah, it's taking you like.
Yeah,
it's an optics thing, right?
Yeah,
you're seeing her, unleashing over here, but then because of this distraction, we're minimizing how good of a competitor that she is.
Yeah.
But of course, Bayley did get the win with a tremendous elbow drop on Liv Morgan, like proper right in the face.
Yeah,
it was great. Dead. I'm like, I think she's dead.
Yeah.
I think Liv Morgan is dead.
Yeah.
She's no longer the juvenile delinquent. She's dead delinquent.
Yeah. She's the juvenile dead.
She's just dead.
She's dead.
Let's see. And then during this, we do see Finn Balor is sort of wandering around, and we do see Lacey Evans, one of the next NXT upcomers, off the side, chatting to Mickie James and.
I did not see who else.
It was Mickie James and someone.
Might
have been Lana. I think might have been Lana.
Maybe.
But during this, so Vince is obviously wandering around, heading back to his place of hanging out. Oh, this is actually no. I lied. This happened earlier. This happened prior to
yes.
Riot Squad match.
Yes.
So yeah, Jinder Mahal walks up, being like, Mr. McMahon, I deserve a shot as well.
I would have come out, but I was dealing with one of the Singh brothers. He was hurt. I was dealing with my consort. Like, I would have been there. Please, I am a monster. I deserve this. So Vince gives him the ultimatum. He says, okay, you pick one of those 4. You beat them tonight. You go into that match. You get your opportunity. He chooses Finn Balor.
Of course.
Because everybody chooses Finn Balor because he's seen as the weak one. Yeah, no one believes in him.
Going by exactly what Vince said, like, he pointed out the fact that he is visually the weakest of the lot.
Yes.
And you can really tell that the Jinder, because the next thing after that was the match between Jinder Mahal and Finn Balor. Mm-hmm. Like, you can tell that even though Jinder saw him as a weaker opponent, there was certainly a level of probably, like, fear's the wrong word, but of an understanding of his potential.
Yes.
Because within minutes, like, the match hasn't even started yet, and he's already laying on him.
Yes.
Which was baffling that they allowed that to happen, because an example we'll get to with SmackDown later on, all this shit went down, and that DQ'd the match. They end the match. They get the opponent out. However, in this, they just were like, fuck it, let Jinder go to town.
Yeah.
And then Finn Balor gets his midsection all, like, torn apart.
Yeah.
So he gets in the ring, and the ref's like, you got this,
He hasn't even got his jacket off at this stage.
Exactly. He's like, nah, I've got this. Let's do this match.
Rips his jacket off, ring the bell, let's go.
So what was a pretty heavy beatdown, even in the actual sanctioned match.
Yeah, I was cringing. I was in pain. That was brutal. Like, Finn got brutalized, and I honestly, as much as it hurts me to say it, I doubted that he'd make it through. I did too. Because he was getting his ass handed to him.
Yeah, because it's something we did also mention last week as well, that, like, Jinder Mahal is a machine. Like, he's a big, imposing dude, and he has a lot of power. He's
built like the Taj Mahal. Like, he's huge.
Love it. And, like, he has a lot of power behind him. So I was genuinely concerned for Finn Balor. However, in a turn of events, he got the upper hand, was able to deliver the coup de grace and get that win. That coup de grace looks vicious, man. Like, it's probably
that was some proper anger behind it.
Even him as even as Jinder as the tank that he is, like, you see that impact on that chest. Yeah, they push that shit in.
Yeah.
What do you think of the match?
Phenomenal. I think I was not expecting it to take the turn it did, and when it did, I was so excited. I love being surprised. And that was just the icing on the cake for me. I was just like, yes, prove to them that you're the underdog. Like, go, you good thing.
See, I'm a huge Finn Balor fan. It was one of the first things that sort of won me over, I guess, when it came to coming back to wrestling. When I first saw the Demon, I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah.
I am totally in. There you got the figure right there. First WWE figure I picked up. The Universal Championship will live there until it goes to somebody else's hands. We don't have to buy a new one for myself to leave there. and like I'm rocking merch. Like he's one of the things that got me in, and I had a lot invested in this match emotionally. Because it was one of those things that.
So did everyone else.
Yeah, like like.
He is a very, very beloved man.
It was beautiful. Next, we get a promo from Lio Rush talking about how what would have been it was originally set as the main event was the Intercontinental Championship match between Bobby Lashley, Dean Ambrose, and Seth Rollins. Yes. Interesting. So this was really cool coming from what we discussed last week with the idea of Bobby getting the push on Seth. Yeah. At the start of sort of we discussed whether maybe there's some whispers going on. Yeah. About Dean and Bobby working together and all this different stuff. But by looking at it, we may have not been incorrect, but we were still wrong a little bit. Like the other thing we mentioned as well was the idea of Bobby pushing through and showing that he's the top. Like he can fight with the big guys.
Yes.
And obviously someone paid attention. Yeah. And put him in this title match. Yeah. There was some interesting movements during this match. As the bell went, Dean instantly turned to Seth and was like, "Dude, let's team up. We got to fucking work against this dude. Like, look at him." Yeah. And what I laughed really hard, Seth's like, "Yeah, sure, fine." Then proceeds to punch Dean and throw him out of the ring.
Yeah, perfect.
I'm like, no, there is too much negative history there for them to be able to pull that together and get that going. But this was awesome. Yeah. This match was awesome.
I obviously earlier in the night, Dean had made the promo about obviously the disadvantage he was at because he had two competitors and he's defending. But I think he utilized that to his advantage because as the match goes on, obviously you see he does team up with Bobby and they do take that beat on to Seth. And then at some point, how miraculously him and Seth end up taking the beat to Bobby Lashley. I think he's a smart competitor. He is a smart competitor and he clearly has a way with words to make people just sort of team up with him, like even if it's completely accidentally. But yeah, I was on edge the entire time.
It was interesting because I watching it, I'm like, oh, this could go anywhere.
It could, yeah.
I had no inkling of where, when I see a booking, you're like, okay, it could go this way. Yeah. I'm like, this is a literal three-way split. I could go anywhere. Like as we know, Lashley, as we've come to learn, powerhouse. He has something to push here. He really is wanting to push to get that shot. Because as they mentioned in the commentary, it's been 11 years since he last held the belt. That's huge. That's absolutely huge. That's a very long time. And we know that Dean obviously wants to retain what he's got. And Seth is now working against two people that he's currently having shit with. Yeah, like exactly. He sort of against him. Exactly. Before he went into the ring, he did mention the same thing about. Like he's got that with Bobby having him beat down last week. Obviously there's that, and then of course there's still continuing issues with Dean around the turn at the Raw where Roman Reigns come out and does the big spiel about everyone that had leukemia, and it was one of those things that he mentioned that kind of really put home the shittiness of Dean Ambrose at this point, because he talks about Roman told us this, we all went out there as brothers, I'm fucking crying on the stage, which he was, and it was this moment of like connections as brothers, the three of them, they shared that hug and they showed that like at that time, like, this is the fucking power of these friends, and like the power of the Shield and what these guys do and mean to each other. And then to have Dean turn, and then just, later. But not even that, like 2 hours later.
2 hours
like,
later.
Literally at the end of the show. Yeah. Sorry, dude. I understand people grieve in different ways, but fuck Dean. Yeah. Fuck.
Right.
So there was a lot going into this for me, and I was like, it would be cool to see have the belt back on Seth. Dean, sure. Lashley, totally.
Yeah. For me, as weird as it's going to sound, I was gunning for Lashley. I think because I do come from that 11 years ago when he was, holding belts and competing for the WWE. He was a powerhouse back then as well. And he's just progressing on this next level. And for me, I was like, as much as you're the bad guy in this, like, you're literally just coming and putting the beat down for the sake of putting the beat down, like, I don't like that, but you're a powerhouse and I'd love to see you challenge people.
Well, exactly. Seeing as he returned in 2018, and he's the Almighty. He's not been all that mighty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's aligned himself with the right people. Obviously, teaming up with Baron Corbin during the big scuffle towards the end of last year, and so he's put his foot in the right places, which is good. And having Leo Rush is there to sort of help him.
Leo Rush is a good hype man.
Yeah.
100%.
He's been an exceptional mouthpiece for him and really helped getting the crowd over. And
he really is.
He not knowing how this match was going to go, when it ended with Lashley getting the pin on Dean, I was beyond words in a good way. I was like, fuck yes. Like, it was so good. Like, you could see it in Bobby. Like, he was genuinely ecstatic to see that he finally got the belt.
He's supposed to be this big, tough, powerhousey, like, big, brooding man, but behind it all, like, you could see there was passion behind it.
He was
stoked. And that was really humbling for me as well. Like, I saw a different side to him then, and I really enjoyed that, to see how happy he was. Because it is a big thing. It's been huge. So many years.
It's amazing, and I can't wait to see what he can do with the Intercontinental Championship. I want to see who wants to take him on. That's
what I want to see. I can't wait.
When it comes to championships, it's all well and good to get there, but once you get there, you got to defend that shit.
Yeah.
And I want to know who's going to be able to take up against Lashley. Yeah. Next, we get a kind of an odd segment, I guess. Alexa Bliss's Coffee Getter Man. Was it remember he's like, oh, Miss Bliss, you want coffee? And he opens it and fucking sees the boobs out. I'm like, what do you do? You never walk in a room. Like, you can knock, but you have to be let in.
But at the same time, you never know in the WWE. Like, something could have happened to her. Like, it's probably wise that he opened the door to check on her, but because she was ignoring him, because God knows why.
She's naked.
Because she's naked. I think he was doing the right thing. He had the right intentions. Like, are you okay? And yeah, we were. So we got some blissful boobies.
She was certainly okay.
Yeah. I did get a moment of bliss right there.
Oh, yes. Segue like a champ. As I think she was getting ready for her moment of bliss on stage with Paul Heyman. But before she did
the advocate Paul Heyman,
can't get that wrong. What she did first, though, which made me incredibly happy, she revealed the women's
Tag Team Championship belts.
What I love is it's kind of like there's been a lot of speculation around what these belts mean in some sense. Not in like their value, but
what they mean.
Notice how these belts aren't stipulated to a show. Yes. These are cross-show belts. There is no, this is the women's Raw Tag Team belts. This is the one. Fuck yes.
And what excites me is how she revealed it. The fact that there is going to be 6 tag teams, 3 from Raw, 3 from SmackDown, in an elimination chamber.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
So in 5 weeks at the February Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Woo!
I am so excited.
Yeah.
I am so excited to see where this is taking the women's division. To see women, 6 tag teams in an elimination chamber is just... I'm so blown away. Yeah. I'm so excited to see the division, like the women's division, take this more aggressive, more like they're not just women, they are the superstars as well. It's taken that whole women's division and everyone's just superstars now, and it's all inclusive, and I am so hyped. Like
this is the reward that the women's division deserves. Right now, the women's are better.
The women's are the bestest.
Like, they are just better. Like, every match I'm more invested in. I care who wins, who loses, and where it goes. Like, I have so much more stake in this, I suppose.
Well, obviously, back in the day, they were literally just models that were, like, haphazardly taught to throw each other around.
They were there to make the male superstars look better.
Yeah, they were literally there as eye candy. And now these women are coming in as superstars, as athletes, as, these powerhouses. And I am so for it. I'm so for seeing where it has come to from when I watched it back in the day to now. I'm definitely so much more invested because of it. Coming from, like, being a little girl and wanting to be a little wrestler, watching it every week. Like, I'm all about it. I want to be in and around it. I am so excited for this.
Yeah.
Especially because this is something that's not happened before. Like, this is...
Like, there has been women's team belts previously, but not like they're doing this. Yes.
Yeah, like, I guess it was like an afterthought before, but now it is a centerpiece.
It's a legitimate division that is one of the first, like, it's the most recent things to cross brands.
Yeah, and cross promotional.
This makes me so happy because we are going to see the likes of, you know, like, potentially like Charlotte and whatnot come across, like where they want to go with her, you know, what she wants to do, and just the potential of across the thing. Like, we're going to see Ember Moon take on a bunch of SmackDown chicks.
Yeah.
Like, yes. More of that.
I'm all about cross promotion.
Yeah.
Especially with the women's divisions. There's so many phenomenal superstars, and they should be like bashing each other up on each show. Like,
well, my literal highlight of last year, because I went on our friends over at 8-Bit Mania, their wrestling show, and we provided my top 5 moments of the year, and my number one moment was the SmackDown invasion on Raw.
Yeah, that was
women's
phenomenal.
on women's, and they were exceptional.
Yeah,
like the whole setup was good. Like
perfect.
Apart from Becky Lynch getting her face blown out, like they all held their own, even the Raw women when they got jumped. Like, it was awesome.
It was phenomenal.
Big fan. And of course, Evolution being one of the highlights of last year in terms of pay-per-views. Like, that across the board, that entire pay-per-view was just brilliant.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Absolutely brilliant. And then, of course, after all that, Paul Heyman did come out and he was doing what he does and be the advocate for the undisputed, reigning champion Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar. You gotta pronounce it right. He went through one by one through the guys facing in the four-way, fatal four-way, sort of pulling them apart and being like, this is why Brock would beat this person, this is why Brock would beat this person. And that's what he's at. He's the advocate. It makes total sense.
Exactly it.
And it was convincing. Very convincing. Like, yeah, no, that's a good point, Paul. That's a good point. Like, I was like, oh, because I was like, knowing I want Brock down. I want Brock down.
Yes.
I want him beaten so bad. So whenever time they bring up these points of like why these competitors aren't the perfect match, I'm like, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point too.
He makes some valid.
And then surprisingly, we get Otis from Heavy Machinery, one of the other NXT, coming up, just making a fuck ton of noise behind the belts. Once again, not knowing NXT, is this the regular Otis? Like, what's going on?
What is going on? I found it really creepy that he was just like, pretty lady.
Pretty lady.
Before he gets dragged off and apologized.
Greg's the other guy who's like, oh, fuck, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Everyone watch, I'm so sorry. And I brought that out. But that did bring into the fatal four-way with, as you mentioned, Finn Balor, Baron Corbin, John Cena, and Drew McIntyre.
Wow.
Match. So good.
I still am speechless about that match. There was so much. So much to go through. There was... First of all, how was Finn standing, walking into that ring?
Credit to, like, you could see he was still a little hurt, but thankfully he's had a bit of time, obviously, sort of to rest up a little bit, you know, about an hour or so, which is not much. Fuck. No. Like, if I take that beating, I'd be down for months.
Yep.
But somehow he pulls it together to come through and then take on three gigantic dudes comparatively.
Powerhouse is my favorite word this episode.
It is. And there was just constant beatdowns. Like, there was no clear winner at any point.
Yeah.
Like, they all sort of...
It was another match where you just couldn't tell who was going to take it.
Yeah, there was a lot of punch. Like I said, a lot of punch, and as in when you're like, fuck, that's going to get the upper hand. Oh, no, they're going down. Like, these guys competed. Like, literally competed.
Yeah.
It was just
there was a lot of ruthless aggression.
Oh, yes, there was.
There was a lot of ruthless aggression.
But it did end with Finn Balor getting the pin on Cena. Yes. Also with the coup de grace.
Yes.
So
did not see that coming.
Me either.
But I appreciated it.
Once again, stakes. It's the conflict that I'm having with the Universal Championship right now. I'm like, fuck. Because I spoke to my wife about it. She's like, so how's Raw? Because I was watching in the lounge. And I'm like, I don't know how to process this.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, I'm like, I want Braun to have that belt, and I wanted it so bad that I was invested in every step of it. I'm like, nah, it's fucking Braun. It's Braun. It's Braun. And then have my heart ripped out when we want to have the shot. I'm like, And then now I know my boy Finn's in there. I'm like, ooh, I was like, so like, I'm so, if not more invested now. Also breaks my heart, but I know that this means that Braun can enter that Royal Rumble.
Yes.
So although he may not get his match now, come WrestleMania, he may get that shot again. We know
could be your two favies versing each other.
Oh, I don't think I have enough pants. The possibilities are endless. I do not have enough pants for that match. Oh my God.
One thing I will give credit to was the end of that match when John Cena said to Finn, like, you know, you came out here and Vince said to your face, I don't believe in you. But you said these people do. He goes, if it counts for anything, you've got another one, man. I believe in you too. That.
And raising the arm, my eyes wide a little bit.
Yeah, raising his arms, like giving him the whole winner spiel. Here is your contender for the...
your contender, yeah.
Phenomenal. Absolutely sweet. That was... I did well up to it. I was like, I have so much hustle, loyalty, and respect for John Cena right now. That was huge.
It was rad. Like, it was such a conflicting end, and I'm so happy. I can't wait to see it, and... I'm
excited. The possibilities.
Because for me... This means a couple of different things, right? What is the best thing to take down a beast?
An underdog.
A demon.
Yeah.
Because he's going to need it to take on the beast. Because like the demon is there to give him that power, to give him that pump. Whenever he needs that extra help, he does call upon the Demon King. Which is also a concern because as we know from his time in Japan, as well as his time in WWE, every time he does bring out the demon, it does cost him a little bit internal. Like there's a balance between the two.
Yes.
So there is always a concern with him bringing out the demon. But, oh my God, what I love because although Finn Balor as a superstar has this grace and this power, when the demon comes out, it is relentless.
Yeah, see, I'm yet to see it. I've not yet seen a match with the demon, so I'm excited to see.
I recommend you go and watch.
I need to.
The first Universal Championship match, I think SummerSlam as well. The last year, the demon popped up as well. Oh man, like
I'll look into it. Because I feel like I'm missing something huge right now.
So I know you're going to be here for this Rumble sweep. So
I am so excited.
If the demon comes, we're gonna have to change couches. Just I'm gonna have to bring a towel.
I'll make sure Millie has heaps of pants. Heaps of
like,
pants.
Millie pants.
Second, third. Oh no, we need another 6.
Just give me a kilt and a towel. And we've got this.
Where's the bathtub?
But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this week's episode of Raw. Like, there was no real major down note for me personally. Or there was some weirdness. There was some weirdness in there.
Yeah.
But I find the key things that I enjoyed surpassed all the lower notes for me.
Yeah. Definitely.
And I imagine this will probably be a theme moving into the more shows that we do, because I'm very easily excited and very passionate. So when I find the things that I love, like I'm gonna be like, yes, and I'll probably make me forget all the shitty things.
Yeah, like you start to just focus and obsess on those exciting things, like you are now with this whole Finn Balor thing.
Yeah, and the potential.
And this is why we do what we do.
Yeah, this is why I love this shit, and this is why I love doing, like, even though it's only been 2 episodes, I love doing this show, because the passion. Right now I've just been gushing into the void, and it's just
and that's what's so
no
good
one's
about
there
it.
to listen.
What do you think I am?
No, but I can only gush so much at 140 characters, and I doubt everyone wants to read my tweet. Like, we even got my good friend Dave Chataway being like, Ryan's fucking obsession with wrestling's getting a bit out of control. Just saying. I'm like, fuck you, Dave. But what do you guys think of Raw for the week, episode 14th of January? Let us know in those comments, or let's jump on the Facebook group and let us know. But before as I calm down, moving to SmackDown. I didn't write down where this one took place. I got no idea.
Yeah.
It was in a city.
Yeah.
It was the 15th, and it was in a city. And just when I thought I'd come down from my excitement of Finn Balor, Universal Championship match, show kicks off Becky.
Oh,
I'm like, yes! Give me my Becky! Woo, Becky, woo!
Yeah.
And she comes in her rental car and just being boss. comes out. The woman's like, so
Kayla, I believe in
Kayla. Yeah, she's like, comes out, gets up in her shit. She's like, oh, fuck off, man. I'm here to. I'll give me a minute. I'll tell you what I want. I'll tell you what I need to say in the ring. Whips her car keys out. Like, park my car. Catch.
Really bad catch.
Real bad catch.
I love it. Good catch.
Just,
on you, Becky.
Yeah, good catch. Yeah. And then it did this pan to Heavy Machinery again, because as we've come to learn, these guys will be making appearance over both shows for the next couple of weeks, sort of in like almost a probationary period.
Yes.
So you just sort of see how they are responded by the masses, how they respond with the other superstars, and make sure they have the right fit before they sort of keep them around, which is I think great. Probably.
Yeah, definitely a good idea.
Every other job has a trial period. Yeah. But I think we've seemed to have found someone that can sort of have fun with the New Day. Because we see the New Day with the boys of Heavy Machinery making what appears to be this most gross concoction
Some
of
epic
a blender.
mealtime shit right there.
Yeah, there's like protein powder, there's milk, there's eggs.
Salmon or bacon? Tuna.
And then some of the pancakes.
Yeah, some of the pancakes.
And like you could even see it. Kofi was uncomfortable. Xavier was confused. Big E was rubbing his boobies. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, it was weird.
I think he was enjoying it. Yep. But the Heavy Machinery guys, like, Otis picks up, has a swig, loves it. Becky walks over, everyone's like, ooh. And as I noticed, like, Xavier's rocking the man shirt.
Yep, as soon as she walks in,
he's
he
like,
rips it out.
Like, no one, like, they've got her back. She chugs the biggest mouthful of this gross drink. He's like,
and says it's weak.
It's a bit weak. And then proceeds to not just, like, hang out, walk straight to the ring. Like we are talking no waiting, no chance to wash her mouth out. Her mouth would be the worst chaos thing in the world. Walking straight in the ring.
There's a reason she's the man and they were shouting it.
That's true. So she
the man, Becky, you're the man.
Oh man, the crowd like Becky. But like, I feel like I'm doing it at home. I'm doing it at home. Internally, externally, it's all going on.
Yeah.
So she walks in the ring and has a big chat. She talks about the idea that people in the locker room and the outside, they believe that her being the man and her having the success that she's having right now has been a fluke.
Yeah.
It's been been something. But and I agree that it isn't. Same. Yeah. Obviously, she argues that as well.
Yeah, she makes some very valid points in that speech.
She does. She sort of talked about clawing her way from relative, like mid-card, low-card, to getting her to become the man. Yeah. And then talk about how there are a bunch of other wrestlers that are trying to be the man as well, and they're not having that. Like they're showing, it's showing firsthand that it's tougher than it is, and even something as simple as retaining the belt. Yeah. People think it's easy. Not very easy.
It's not at all.
And then she proceeded to make fun of fucking Oscar for a while, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Mentioned the idea that, the pressure that comes with being the championship belt holder. Yeah, everyone thinks it's easy, but, with Oscar being undefeated from her debut to then WrestleMania, she took on Charlotte Flair, someone who Becky has beaten consistently for the last 5 months, as she mentions. Crumbled and then proceeded to lose pretty much consistently up until the later half of last year. So Becky's solid point there.
100%.
So it was sort of the pressure on Asuka, obviously there's some crumble there.
Yeah.
And where is she right now?
Yeah.
Like, as when Becky, aside from when her face caved in, she was there.
Yeah.
There was no time or way. I think she even made jokes on Twitter because her Twitter game is amazing.
Yeah.
Back in the day, when we talked about her with being out with her broken nose, she was out for 2 weeks. And then she made fun of Charlotte, who was out 8 weeks when she got a boob job. I'm like,
solid.
Amazing. I imagine they are.
Yeah.
Oscar did show up though, sort of get up in her shit and be like, "Nah, man, you ain't you may be a B, but you got no sting."
Yeah. See, I love Asuka because even though there is that language barrier there, she can still talk some smack.
It was
hilarious and I really enjoyed it. No sting. Like I love it. I love how eccentric she is, and I love that she didn't back down from the fight either. Yeah. Becky brought the words to her. She came straight out and faced her straight up.
And I think they would have come to blows then and there if they weren't interrupted by the poorest example of Australians, the Iconics.
I have not seen the Iconics before until today. I could have lived without it. Let's be honest. Like, I'm all for, Australian athletes, like Australian women getting to that level. But my God.
It's this weird line for me. I love what they're doing because, like, that's Australian.
Yeah.
Like what the bit that they're doing is like what they're bringing. It seems so jarring because it's surrounded by Americans. Like our accent sounds so much worse when it's in any other environment.
Yeah.
Amongst ourselves, it sounds fine.
Yeah.
But you put it anywhere and it's like, oh fuck.
It sticks out like a sore thumb.
It hurts.
Yeah.
Or an Australian expression, it sticks out like dog's balls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just there, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
But what I love about it, they come out there talking smack, being like, yeah, look, it's all well and good that you're gonna fight you and you're gonna fight you. Fuck yeah, good on you. However,
we're gonna enter the Rumble.
Yeah, which we have confirmation that they're both entering the Rumble. But then they were like, well, and we're also going to be the first ever world women's tag team champions. I was like, ooh, no, but ooh,
yeah. It could be a thing.
Yeah, look,
that'd be huge for us Aussies.
It'd be huge. Like we know right now, we've got representation with Buddy Murphy.
Yes,
current champion at 205. So fuck yeah, Buddy, my Melbourne boy as well.
Yeah.
So big love there. Old dirt sheet Dash. He used to work like he works at a like a JB Hi-Fi, and Buddy used to be a regular customer for him.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
when he sees me, he's like, "Oh my god, it's funny! I didn't know nobody.
I saw that guy.
I sold him games once.
Yeah,
like more than once. They like the big old chats.
I know what you mean.
But yeah, so love it.
Yeah.
Like I love the idea of like the Aussies doing stuff, but it's pain. Becky's like, you know, fuck this. Let's do it now.
Yeah, nut up or shut up. Let's do this.
What I love though is after all this banter, and they're like, "Come on!" and they both go, "Oh." They have this look like their face just drops. And they go, no, not a thing.
And then during the ad break, it's made an official match.
Yeah, and then I think that happened later. So yeah, so next time we get Becky versus Peyton Royce.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting to see.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know where this is going. Becky's gonna beat the piss out of her.
Yeah.
It started with one of the greatest things I have ever seen. So Becky walks up with the hand out. Let's give her the handshake. Peyton's like, yeah, sure. Becky proceeds to punch her in the fucking throat.
So
and like
good.
it is like it's a
punch.
It's a shot.
Yeah.
Like there's no forearms or anything. It's
just a jab to the
and
jab
like,
to the jugular.
Like a head whip back. Like it's if they could have, should have been like, oh fuck. And then she just to drop and roll out of the ring. Like that is a throat punch. I've ever seen one. And like that just
a jugular jab.
It just showed the power and the attitude of Becky, and I second that. I'm like, yeah, Peyton's not coming out of this well.
Yeah.
She proceeded to get her ass stomped and then have a good old tap out with a disarmer.
Give her credit though, she did take the fight to Becky at some points. She did get, there was a few points there where she did get some beat down.
Yeah, there was some moments, but there's at some point
she didn't just back
Peyton
down.
had Becky on the neck on the rope doing the big squash with the knee right in front of Asuka as well, sort of asserting that dominance. And like, look what the fuck I can do. You wait till I come talk to you, sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But no, it ended pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But as Billy and Peyton, Billy was escorting Peyton out of the ring, being all beaten, licking their wounds. Oscar's comes up yelling whatever the hell in Japanese.
Yeah. See, that's what I love about Asuka is when she gets angry, she just completely forgets the English language and just reverts to like aggressively yelling in Japanese.
Yep.
Basically, like from what I took from it, she was saying, "I can do this too. Get in the ring, fight me. Like, let's do this." Billy's just like, we're going.
Gotta look after
Asuka goes after her and just rips her, smashes her into the apron and throws her in the ring and let's do this. And the match is over in a second.
Like, what was interesting, there was no like, was this gonna happen? It's gonna like ding ding ding, like literally it's like, oh fuck it, ding ding ding.
Yep. Okay, this is a thing.
And it became a thing, and
it was over a lot quicker. But I think it was bold of Asuka to mock Becky.
She got the win over Billy, not by her usual means, by a fucking disarmer.
Yeah.
Like what? Like it's just showing that, hey, I got this. Like what you have ain't special.
Yeah. And that's what I love about Asuka is, she can walk the walk and talk the talk. Even though it's a bit broken English, she can still do it.
She can broken talk the talk.
Yeah. But I'm all about it. I am so excited for the Becky Asuka matchup.
And then in the weirdest shit, as Becky and Asuka are facing off again in the ring, I'm like, are they going to punch each other now? Next thing, out of nowhere, AJ Styles music just fucking blows up. I'm like, he knows he can't fight either of these, right? Like, what's going on? And so instead, he just comes in, does a lap of the ring, proceeds to walk up the seats and out into the concession stand.
Yeah.
I baffled.
Yeah, so was
I had no idea what was going on.
I was like, this is leading somewhere. I don't know where it's leading, but I need to see this.
It was weird. Like, it was so weird.
Yeah, it was a really weird sort of segue into that.
But not like not like a jarring weird. It was more about, as you said, where is this going?
Yeah, it was definitely I am confused. Like, huh?
Yeah, it was like a, huh?
Yeah.
But as we come to learn, as you mentioned, he went away to the concession stand, sort of jumping off what Daniel Bryan said last week about the idea if AJ Styles wasn't the superstar that he was, he would be out here with these pieces of shit, eating the shitty food, buying the shitty merchandise, filling the broken hole that he has inside him. I love the approach to this. AJ Styles being the man that he is, he's like, who gives a fuck? Do what you want, eat what you want, just be happy.
You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them.
Yeah. It was great. It's the idea of do what you want. You want merch? Here's merch. And then just throw. I think he may have
Go on.
At the start, like they're all like, woo! He grabs a shirt and pegs it and like smacks some dude in the side. Like there was this crowd that was next to him. There was some dudes just down the thing hanging out near a toilet.
Yeah,
they get pelted.
I didn't see that.
He gets pelted with a shirt in the side of the face. He's like, duh! And this everyone's like, woo! Merch.
Oh,
and
God.
then in like some cartoony fashion, Daniel Bryan like pulls off a hood, jumps out of the crowd and socks AJ. So they have a scuffle around this concession table with like there's like merch everywhere. There's hot dogs going everywhere.
Yeah.
And Daniel gets thrown through the hot dog table.
Before AJ gets dragged away by officials.
Yeah.
Because clearly he's got the upper hand.
You know, as we sort of talk about with like, you know, the new Seth Rollins over at Raw, like we are getting the old, the new AJ Styles gets the old Seth Rollins, my bad.
Yeah.
So we are seeing this new AJ Styles and he's not afraid to beat down. Like, I love this. I love this. I'm just so glad they're taking it out of the ring. They're taking it out of the backstage. They're going places we've not seen in a long time.
Exactly it. It's definitely, like I said last week, it's coming into a new age of WWE again, an age that we've seen before, the age where you are so engaged because there's something new happening every week and it's exciting and it's fun and you sit there and you're like, yes, like, yeah, put him through a friggin' table, like, eat that mustard, you bastard. Like
that was my concern because mustard stinks. Like, you get that shit on your shirt, you smell mustard for about a week, even if you change the shirt. Like, it's in your skin.
Yeah.
And he's drowned in mustard. I'm like,
I'm all about it. This is the WWE that I watched back in the day that got me first engaged, and it's coming back, and I am all for it. But it's coming back with a vengeance. Yeah. Like we said with the women's divisions and stuff, like it is just blowing up into the whole new thing, and my mind is just like, yes. I can't. I'm so excited.
Next, we cut to the Usos standing around standing around photo shoot for the Royal Rumble promo. Did they make have they been on the list yet? Let's see.
I do not know. I don't believe so.
No, they are currently not on the list. So I would safe to say that they will also be joining the Rumble list. Not confirmed yet. I imagine they would be. Why the hell would they not be?
Exactly.
Unless they have a tag team match on the night, which I'm not sure about at this point.
Either.
So they're talking about next thing. A stagehand walks up, gives Jimmy a little present, and Jay's like, ooh, Jim's like, oh fuck, and this is an early anniversary present from Naomi, and Jay's like, nah, give me that shit, let me read this, it's gonna be fun. He reads it and it's like, I've been bad, you need to lock me up in the Uso penitentiary. I'm like, ooh, I'm like, oh fuck, and then I remembered what has been happening the last couple of weeks, and then there's a rose in the box,
and when Jay Uso, when I saw him stop and his face dropped and I was like, it clicked because I noticed a rose in his hand and I was like, Mandy Rose.
I'm like, fuck you, bitch.
You piece of crap.
And then after that, they then point out that in that box is her hotel room key. I'm like, oh, you bitch. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, like I said, as my concern with this, with what Mandy's doing, as I mentioned last week, bonkers. And credit to Jimmy at this point. He's still holding out. Like, he still hasn't crossed that line yet, and I don't think he will.
But Jay does say to him, what are you going to do? And he goes, I don't know, man.
I don't know. Like, he's like, how do you stop this in the bud? You nip it in the bud. Like, he's can't keep happening.
Yeah.
Then we cross over to Samoa Joe, who's making his way to the ring, getting ready for his match with Mustafa Ali. We see EC3 again, like rocking poses in the mirror. I don't know who he is. I'm keen as shit to see what EC3 does.
I am all about it. I reckon he's going to be a silent assassin.
I think it's going to be awesome.
I am so for it.
I am so in. Now, actually, I should mention, has that happened yet? I believe, yes. So we during the Becky Oscar Iconics thing, we did have Lacey stand there watching via television.
Oh, yes.
Keeping an eye on.
Yeah.
I'm curious about her as well.
Yeah, I'm very curious. I think they're playing that really well.
We then get a cut from in an interview with Andrade. How do you pronounce it? Andrade
Cien Almas.
Yeah, Andrade Cien Almas and Selena Vega. But he's now just Andrade. Which is good because I can't pronounce it.
Yeah.
But
it's kicked up a lot of stink. Even I was sitting there like, say his full name. Say Andrade Cien Almas. But it is a mouthful as well, so I can understand why they're abbreviating
it is a little bit of a bummer if they're sort of going along the lines of, people can't pronounce his name, let's just do it. So,
yeah.
Which hey, the
also in a
audience are not smart enough.
Yeah, we are in a day and age where you kind of do need to learn.
But I understand it. There have been some incredibly powerful wrestlers that have also gone by one name. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So you've got the likes of Neville.
Yeah.
And fucking Cher, and Seal,
yeah,
and McLovin.
Yeah.
All these powerful one name wrestlers.
Yeah.
So
McLovin.
So it makes total sense for him to shorten it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it doesn't take away from who he is and his heritage. Because
exactly.
He still has that.
It doesn't take it away.
Yeah.
Because we'll get to him in a minute. But up until this point, we then go to the Samoa Joe and Mustafa Ali match. Samoa Joe comes out looking as fucking menacing as ever.
Yeah.
Out of all the wrestlers, all the superstars and wrestlers that we watch, I don't think there's anyone where their intro music matches as well as Samoa Joe. Like that, and it's like such a punch. So I'm like, that's fucking Samoa Joe.
Yeah, it's a very he's in a screen and I'm intimidated by him.
Yeah.
I sit there and I'm like,
just he walks up with the swagger and it's like, burn.
Yeah.
I
am. He's a very intimidating man, even behind a screen, and I am all for it.
That's it. And then Mustafa Ali makes his way in as almost like a rave Iron Man mixed Bane.
Yeah. I do love his entrance. It is a lot of fun.
It is awesome. It's very cool to watch.
It is so much fun. That whole little heart thing he's got going on his chest all the time.
But it's not very cool to watch when he then gets onto the turnbuckle and stands up, gets ready to go. Samoa Joe takes him down, yanks him, rips him out. If it wasn't for that heart beating chest, then I thought he'd be dead.
Yeah.
Because Joe just seemed, like I said, as we mentioned with Jinder and Balor, like the refs were there in a sec.
Yeah.
Where on Raw they're like, it was fun.
It's okay. Yeah, no, they were all over it, but Joe just kept powering through them.
Like it was a relentless beatdown.
It was savage. I was hurting. I was like, please just stop. I was almost in tears. As weird as it sounds, I was like, please just leave him be.
As Joe would pick him up and throw him into the turnbuckle.
And the way he just flew off of it.
And he flung off it in like a flip. Like we're not talking like and then fall over. It literally enough velocity to do a legitimate flip. Land on his head.
I was so glad.
Twice.
Yeah.
Twice.
I was so glad that he didn't put him through the announce table and just throw him into the
barrier. He got really close to doing it.
I was so concerned.
It was a proper beatdown, and it's this weird thing, like coming off the tag team match last week with Joe and Andrade and with Ray and Mustafa. I understand there's some frustrations there because but I think who got the win last week? I've gone too far back. I'm not sure.
Who was it again?
I was Ray Mysterio, Mustafa. I didn't write down who won. I forgot.
Ray, Mustafa, Joe, and
Andrade.
It was Andrade.
Yeah, Andrade got the pin.
He got the pin on Ray. Yeah. That's why they had the rematch.
So I maybe Samoa Joe thought I had this feeling of missing out. It's like I wanted that fucking win. I want to show that I'm the dominant. Like this new guy's coming in here to show his dominance. Like I've maybe been here a while, but I've still got to prove myself. Especially because both these guys, this is their first Rumble, so they've got something. They've got something to prove here.
See, for me, I noticed Joe's elbow was wrapped, and I think for him, he might have known in his head. This is just all speculation.
Of course.
I think that he was using this brutalization on Mustafa Ali to not have to deal with that in ring because he knew it'd be targeted and it'd damage him more and possibly take him out of the Rumble.
So I think this was more of.
I think it was a strategy to keep him healthy for Rumble.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's what I didn't know. I didn't notice the strapped elbow.
Yeah,
So
that's one thing I did notice with the strap elbow, and I think that's why he hesitated putting him through that announce table as well. Maybe there's something there that he just wants to get right for Rumble. I feel like that's what his eyes are set on, and he used this brutalization to.
I think your theory has some ground. So moving into next week, whatever Joe gets signed up against, that's where we're going to see the potential threads of what you're saying here.
Yeah.
So, I like it. I like it a lot.
I think sometimes.
Yeah, but so after that super beatdown, we then head over to a discussion between Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. Sort of Sonya being like, it's kind of fucked what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
I understand, although you have some disdain for Naomi, you're fucking pushing that line.
Yeah.
And the words were, what you're doing is scandalous.
And Mandy's
not the song from, was it Bardo?
The way you move,
scandalous.
Yeah, I know this shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mandy's like, I don't care. I despise Naomi so much that I will break up her marriage, which is just she's lower than dirt to me now.
Brutal.
But yeah, just straight up, you could see it in Sonya's face. She was just like,
there's a line here, and
the line is right here, and you are in Tasmania. Girl, no.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's bold of Mandy Rose to be that.
It's bold of Sonya to step up and
But at least she's saying, hey, this is messed up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Credit to her. She could have been like, I'm just gonna step away. But she's like, no, it's kind of fucked. Because they are buddies, and I assume they will be tag team partners as we move into the tag team championships for the women. But
could this lead to some
animosity? Totally could.
Let's see what happens.
We then go to with Ray entering through the back end. We see Nikki Cross apparently stuck behind a gate. Just yelling at people.
You want to play, Ray? Nikki wants to play.
I'm like, then just open the gate, man. You don't have to be behind there.
You don't have to shake it. Calm down.
You're literally free to move.
Yeah.
If you want to just take 4 steps back, turn around, and you're out of the cage. Just like a dog. You know that dog when a dog thinks the door's shut, but it's open.
Yeah.
Dog freaks out. And you're like, can I come through?
Come on in there.
It's like my son. My son walked into the fly screen once, and now I have to be like, it's fine. I put my hand through the open door for him to go, oh, okay. And he walks through. And then I'm like, are you okay, Nikki? Just fucking walk out the door.
Yeah.
It's fine. Then we head into Rey Mysterio versus Andrade Cien Almas.
Andrade.
In my head, the middle word, it starts with D, not C.
Yeah, I know. Cien.
I've just written here, excellent match.
It was phenomenal. Those two put on a show again. But seeing them in that one-on-one competition, just insane. Just those moves they were throwing, that flippy, tombstone-y thingy happened again. And then there was some other crazy... I can't.
So of course there was the move that we discussed last week, which I think may have, as you mentioned, was previously an illegal move.
Yeah, from what I was told, it's an illegal move.
What is so great about these two pairings is with their lucha background, they are squaring off.
Yeah.
The speed of Andrade baffles me.
Yeah, for his size, I'm the same. But obviously back in the day, he fought in the lucha rings.
Lucha Underground, yeah.
Yeah, so he's got that. Even though he's one of the bigger guys, he's still got the speed, he's still got the agility, he's still got the high flying, because that's what the lucha style is all about. And
because of that size, he obviously has a larger amount of power compared to Ray.
God, yeah.
So outside of the ring, there's a bit of flippies going on. He then proceeds to stop Ray's flips and then just fucking power bomb him. Not in the ring, on the mat. And then, granted, a little bit later, Ray gets the one up on the apron, does one of those knee flip things.
Yeah.
Literally, Andrade goes airborne.
Yeah.
Bounces. It's almost like bouncing off the pavement.
Yeah. It was phenomenal. Obviously Ray is an older superstar as well. He's had a lot of time in the WWE.
He's without injury. He's only come back recently.
Exactly it. And I am still so baffled. Obviously, you're baffled by the size of Andrade and how agile he is. And I'm baffled by Ray and how seasoned he is, but how he's still so agile and so high flying. And it's one of those matches that you live for. And I was the entire time, I was just jumping and getting all excited. And I'm pretty sure I was bouncing as high as they were. Because I was yes!
I had a much more internal excitement. I was in bed with my wife and my son were asleep next to me. So I'm like,
I was at the back at work, like on my lunch break, eating my chicken sandwich, just like
chicken's going everywhere.
My co-worker walks out. She's like, "You watching wrestling still?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like, I was all about it. It was so good. I even had her watching for a bit because she was like, whoa, like I was like, yeah, you see, like it is a sport that I like.
Like my wife loves the flippy shit, so I want to be like, Millie, wake up! You didn't watch this shit. It's good.
Oh, so good. I was bummed about the outcome.
So the outcome was with an interference from Selena Vega. I'm sick of interference. Fuck. Like I'm so sick of it. Like I want people to get the wins legitimately. I don't like this fucking around and. Andrade had the win here. I don't know why Selena had to interrupt.
I'll give Selena credit that she doesn't touch Ray at all during the match. She just jumps on the ropes, does a bit of rope shaking, and then Andrade is able to capitalize.
Yeah, so Andrade then gets the hammerlock DDT on Ray. So the feet on the top rope, bam, hit DDT. I love a DDT.
Yeah,
love a good DDT. So good. Like there was. Oh man, there was some quality. I think it was a good tornado DDT as well.
Yeah,
from Ray.
yeah, there was. It was. What a.
Yeah, I think in my past life I was a DDT. Yeah, I feel connected to them.
If I wore pants, I'd need a new pair. I wear dresses, by the way.
That was. I can't explain how immaculate that match was.
It was phenomenal.
It was
so
front to back. Like if what would become the main event that night wasn't there, this should have been the main event. This was right in the middle of the show, and this should have been the main event.
But that's what keeps you going too. Like, you know, if it's boring throughout the entire show, you tune out. You don't see the end of it. Whereas having something so big right in the middle, it keeps you engaged. And you have to know that something bigger is on its way. Definitely keeps you engaged.
Something bigger along its way certainly wasn't some follow-up to the Jimmy Mandy situation. So Jimmy does go make his way to the hotel room to confront Mandy Rose, give her some schmack. Not schmack as in schmack, yeah. But like as in like get the fuck.
Knock it off.
Yeah, yeah.
We can't do this.
Yeah, they're not doing the schmack down, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, so he walks in the room, he's been like, hey, and she gets fucking gear off. But what I find interesting about, I think my mate said this last week as well, with Samantha Rose, like, hey, look at me, I'm dressed sexually. Like, you're wearing more clothes than your ring attire.
Yeah. I thought the same thing. I was just like, okay, yep, so it comes down a bit more than your ring bra does.
Woo.
Yeah. Very disappointed, woo. I guess.
Yeah, and then sort of she then like Dr. Evil in fucking Austin Powers, she then proceeds to sit there and apart from stroking a cat, pretty much gave away her entire plan to him.
Yeah.
And then gets up, gets in his face. Paparazzi, mind you, there's a video camera recording this entire
transaction.
Like, what were you thinking? Because if at any point, if Naomi didn't turn up like she does in the next couple of minutes, and she's like, look at all these photos, she's like, can you just watch SmackDown? Just watch SmackDown.
But this is the thing with that whole Naomi showing up thing. I think Jimmy planned it.
Oh.
Because if you notice, she says something about, like, obviously Mandy does a spiel about how much she hates Naomi, and Jimmy's just like, my wife, and he walks away. And then next minute Naomi's there. I think he had it planned from the get-go.
Speaking of like, excellent cam, so it followed Jimmy out, the camera swang back to Mandy, swang back, Naomi's just there looking boss. Oh, someone's gonna die.
She's gonna layeth the smacketh down.
But surprisingly, Naomi did not deliver the intense beatdown that I wanted her to, or that I expected her to. Not saying that she's incapable, but I
think it's the emotions thing again. Like, she's just letting it get to her, and Mandy's capitalizing on that. Because she's sacrificing athleticism for just being angry and just wanting to beat her.
Yeah, like there was some on the bed punching, there was through a chair punching. Mandy Rose got her face into a television.
Yeah. It was a time, but I think it was definitely planned on Jimmy's behalf. I think he walked into that.
Very good move.
Yeah. Yeah, it shows his dedication to Naomi.
Yeah, shows his loyalty. It's very, very awesome to see.
Yeah,
and as we mentioned, in a world where people are like, she hit on me first.
Yeah, and I was so much hoping, like when I saw Naomi there, I was hoping that was the case from the get go. When Jay first said, "Oh, Mandy Rose," I was just like, he's gonna take that key. He's gonna take Naomi. She's gonna lay the smacketh down. Like I knew it was.
Actually, I honestly would have loved to see if it went the other way. If Jimmy didn't go there at all, he just like there's a shot of him just going, "Here you go, just gives it to Naomi.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so, like,
that's kind of what I was hoping as well.
Door opens, like, oh, hey, Jimmy. Naomi just, yeah,
just another jugular jab. Yeah, just straight in the throat.
And then they just proceed to beat down in this hotel hallway.
Would have been great.
That would have been, like, damn, this was pretty cool.
They can go so many ways.
That would have been so much better. Like,
yeah.
And douche.
Yep.
And then we did end on the Shane McMahon birthday bestie bash. Yeah, the bestie birthday bash thing it was called.
That was a bit cute, let's be honest. Miz can be a sweetheart.
So with Shane McMahon's birthday this week, the Miz set up a little bit of a shindig. He decked the ring out. There was two cakes of his Shane's favorite flavors.
Yeah.
He then had a series of presents as well. Mm-hmm. He did an incredible highlight reel of just showing off the power of Shane McMahon and who he is. And and then he gifted him an awesome pair of Jordans.
Yeah.
Like they're probably $200 for the Jordans right there.
Yeah, easily.
So like it's like when Miz says he's his bestie, he ain't kidding.
Yeah. I do have a bestie like that, and I'm stoked. But everybody needs a bestie like The Miz. Let's be honest, he's awesome.
He is pretty awesome.
And then we get an interruption.
Then the bar rock up, and the bar are there to give some shit, to be like, oh, this is all well and good, but
where's Daddy-O?
Where's fucking Daddy? Like, as you know, Miz mentioned a couple of weeks back that, ooh, my daddy wasn't there, my dad didn't love me. And so, well, guess what? You do guys have something in common, because where the fuck's Vince?
Yeah.
And Shane's like, yeah, I take offense to that. Hey, Miz, can you punch him?
Yeah.
So then we see Sheamus versus The Miz.
Although The Miz is hesitant at first because he's wearing a suit.
He's wearing probably a couple $1,000 suit right there.
Yeah. But
yeah, so they get a bit of beatdown. I think at some point Cesaro gets thrown through one of the cakes.
Yep, he does.
The Miz gets the roll up on Sheamus, gets the 1, 2, 3, and that's over.
With a little bit of interference from his co-bestie.
Yeah, and then which
was phenomenal teamwork on their behalf, and I'm excited to see that so much. And then they decide to tag team on Sheamus while he's out in the ring.
So we see Sheamus gets a face full of cake at this point, and then we see Shane set up for the coast to coast.
Coast to coast was first.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yep, coast to coast was first. Miz takes the top of one of the cakes and he puts it right in front of Sheamus's face. And then coast to coast down. And then while they're celebrating, Miz just has a handful of that cake just straight in Sheamus's face, and they're celebrating. Like Shane goes and gets the cup, the
World Cup,
Yep, that cup. They hold it up together, but you can see Miz has got one hand down.
He's got cake,
holding like this, and then next minute, face full of cake for Shane, and then they're holding the cup up again, and it was a beautiful ending. I think I loved watching them. That teamwork that they had there. I am so excited to see where this tag team takes us. I think they are really meshing as co-besties.
I agree.
And it's going to be something else.
Although, like I said, the one thing I'm disappointed though, this is more of a personal disappointment, is, I don't know whether I told you this, but my son, when we watch Shane enter, because here comes the money, he thinks it said, thought it said mummy.
Oh.
So he goes, mummy. I'm like, it's money, but that's fine. So now cute. That's when we have a million into the room. It's now here comes the mummy.
I love it. That's so cute.
So like, he was asleep. I'm like, it'd have been awesome if he could have jumped up. But yeah, no, so I really cute. Dig where they're going. I can't wait.
I'm excited to see their ring attire.
I cannot wait for their tag team championship at Rumble, and knowing that they can get a win on the bar, double tick right there.
Yeah, exactly it.
Because that's who they're taking on in a week, just over a week. So
I'm calling them Miz Man. Like that's their tag name for me. No, just Miz Man. They're just the Miz Man tag team, and I am. It's not going to stick. It's like fetch.
Or you could go the other way, so take the piss out of the bar and call himself the Schmiz.
The
Sheamus. Schmiz.
I love it. I like
Schmiz. Schmiz works.
I like Schmiz. I do like Schmiz, yeah. Schmiz man.
Yeah. Overall, pretty quality episode of SmackDown. But once again, the same thing. Like, there were some very key tent poles that really showcased the overall the overall episode, which was like with the Andrade Ray.
That was definitely the highlight of the episode.
100. And the Becky punch.
Yeah,
anytime Becky's there, like,
The jugular jab.
That GIF. I watched that GIF for like 5 minutes. Just period.
I think what got me the most was right at the start when who is it? Thingo just rips open his shirt.
Xavier.
Xavier's just like boom, the man. Like that. I laughed so hard at that. That was great.
Yes. Would you get? It's one thing I'm thinking we probably did, mate, which was better Raw SmackDown that week. It's getting hard.
Yeah, it is getting very hard.
One of the big things they talked about at the end of last year was the idea that the shows are changing and they'll be doing more and new stuff. And I do. There are moments where they do what we've seen before, but then they end it with something we haven't. Like as mentioned with Braun, like we've seen him crack the shits, we've seen him flip cars before, but the response of this, the way that changed the way they changed the rest of the episode, really makes me go, nah, these guys are doing something different. Yeah.
And I am all for it. Like I said, it's taking me back to what I remember. And what I remember was being engaged every week and being on edge and not knowing what's going to happen week to week. It's too hard to... not knowing what's going to happen match to match.
Yeah.
So I am all for this. And I am so excited. This has to probably be one of my favourite lead-ups to a Royal Rumble.
Correct.
Which in turn is the road to WrestleMania.
That's it. So speaking of Raw, well, let us know what you thought of SmackDown, of course, in the comments below on all those sort of places. Let us know our Facebook group. But there's not a lot of news coming out of Rumble as we move into what we look forward to towards Raw Rumble at this point. Obviously with the championship match between now Finn Balor and
Finn has been removed from the Royal Rumble,
correct,
so there's only 18 men announced now.
That's true.
And we've just had obviously Billy and Peyton join
the women's. That brings the women's count up to 15 at this point. We're right smack in the middle of the announced women. We have confirmation that Rusev will be defending his Universal Championship against Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yes, that will be good.
Don't care about that one at all. Rusev needs to keep it longer.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of like it was so awesome for him to finally get it, and I think he can do it.
Yeah, I think he can definitely retain.
And of course, we've still got the same tag team. Like, there's no real major changes this week in terms of what we know about the Rumble. Oh, I lie. Apart from Braun being kicked out, I mean, anything that we haven't discussed up until this point.
Exactly.
When they were like, it's a week from Sunday, I'm like, oh, it's so close.
I know.
Like excitement is real.
I am so excited. I love a good viewing party. I love a pay-per-view party. I love getting together with people. It's more fun to experience it together, especially a Royal Rumble, because it is so high energy. And I'm so excited. It's going to be a community night, right? Mm-hmm. Yep, I am so excited. For
morning, afternoon, is going to be all
whichever,
day.
Yep, community day. It's my first ever PopC community day, so I'm really excited to meet you guys. I guess now I'm part of the PopC.
Yeah.
I'm Jem the pop culturist.
Josh called you the subculturist.
The subculturist. I like it. I'll take it. I can just be up here. I'm all about it. I'm the subculturist. But yeah, I am so excited to have my first community night. So it's a perfect night for it, considering we're doing this now.
It is. It's really, really good.
I am
so at this point, I guess it will also be announced that you are the co-host.
I am the co-hosty, like the co-bestie.
But co-hosty. Very, very cool.
Keep it wrestling.
But of course, that brings us to the end of this week's episode of The Young and the Wrestlers. I hope you enjoyed it once again. We still don't have any intros or outros for the show, so all I can say is if you do like what we do, give us all the iTunes subscribes, 5 stars in the comments. Let us know about the wrestling. And of course, if you want to cover yourself in Young and the Restless, just go to popculturist.com/shop. I have a shirt. Gem shirts are on the way. But until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
And I am the Jem Maharaja. Jem de Mahal. I'm going to have one every week, guys.
How the fuck can I can't finish the show after that. Like, everything I say seems redundant.
Just say bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.